Hey guys, Forrest Leitch here with Hang Loose Outdoors and JT Outdoor Products. I'm just getting around to putting away some stuff in the boat here after a really fun trip out to Fort Peck in northeastern Montana, chasing big lake trout. Kind of wanted to go over a few ways that we caught them, a few things we used to help you out if you want to go do the same thing either on Fort Peck or any other similar body of water for lake trout. You know, we were looking anywhere in that 100 to 130 feet of water range. The fish were real easy to find, you know, being that it's such deep water, your electronics really cast a wide beam, so it's pretty easy to find the fish. Once you find them, it's just a matter of getting them to eat. And the real key is once you have the right bait figured out, is finding the way to trigger them. You know, we tried a different variety of baits, from hair jigs, tube jigs, blade baits, rattle baits, big spoons, all sorts of stuff. What we ended up finding out being was kind of their preference was kind of your standard big heavy jig heads. We're using anything from a ½ ounce at the very small end up to even 1.5 ounce jig with just kind of a big paddle tail. This one happens to be a Savage Gear plastic, so any type of big jig and paddle tail was working really well for us. This one happened to be the kind of the standout star anyways. But above and beyond the bait itself was how you worked that bait to get those bites. If you were just jiggling like you would kind of for like similar to walleye fishing, weren't getting any bites. The fish weren't even interested at all. In order to get those bites, you had to stay above the fish, and as soon as the fish showed any interest, you had to really burn that bait, get it really flying up, get those fish to chase. As soon as the fish chased and committed, it was game over. They were crushing those baits and burning up your drags. So once you kind of figured out that cadence or that chase to get the fish to go after your bait and really eat, that's what kind of made the difference. So another thing that was really important to us out there was actually the rods we were using. My rod of choice for the whole trip was the 7.3 Black Rain. That's a medium action, pretty fast spinning rod. The reason I chose this rod is I wanted to have something that's got enough backbone to really drive that big, thick wire gauge hook into that big bony mouth of a lake trout. And it's really important to have a lot of that backbone, especially 130 feet of water. You're gonna have a little bit of line stretch and you gotta really be able to drive that hook home. So I wanted something that was really stout, but at the same time, I didn't want something that's too stout, you know, a big broomstick, something way overpowered. Those lake trout are notorious for huge head shakes, really rolling around and throwing hooks. So you need to have something that can really absorb those head shakes when that fish is shaking around way down there. So this Black Rain is kind of that perfect balance of forgiveness with that flexible tip, but plenty of backbone to drive that hook home initially. So didn't really lose many fish. A lot of the ones we hooked, we got them into the net. So kind of a good testament to the fighting ability of that Black Rain, as well as being able to feel the bites and everything like that. So if you're heading out either to Fort Peck or, you know, any reservoir, any lake that's got lake trout and you're gonna try some of this vertical jigging, you know, play around with a different variety of baits, play around with how you fish them, you know, get those fish to really chase, and make sure you're going to battle with the right stick in your hand here. The 7.3 Black Rain is pretty tough to beat. Nice one.
That's probably the biggest of the trip.